Wait, who's killable and what?
I am killable in Wasteland too.
Oh, you're a character?
Yes.
Does that mean I'm gonna have to keep playing it?
Only if you want to shoot me.
I really do. Hello everyone, welcome to Word Funk. I am Leon Thomas. I am joined by Austin Yorsky and Johnny Maloney. All kinds of crazy things have happened lately. The biggest and craziest is Marvel decided to basically double down on big movie releases after DC did it. DC said, hey, here's everything we're doing for the next million years. Check out all of these movies. Yeah, DC Cinematic Universe. And then Marvel said, actual quote. And
it's a shame they're not going to make any more non-superhero movies ever. No one ever will again. It's all superhero movies from here on out. Yeah. That was surprising.
I hear that by the year 2025, if you haven't been a superhero in a movie, they're going to kick you out of the Screen Actors Guild.
The next, basically, there's lots and lots and lots of Marvel movies coming out. Next year, we already knew that Avengers: Age of Ultron is coming out, and Ant-Man, but coming in 2016 from Marvel Studios is Captain America: Civil War. We actually talked about this a few weeks ago when that was the rumor. Now it's definite. I'm not sure how they're going to do it with so few superheroes. It's not going to be...
Is this going to be the setup for it? Like, it's going to lead to the point where that starts? I don't think they're going to, finish the storyline in a single movie.
Well, I don't know if they're going to finish the entire storyline in the movie, but that's what it's about. I mean, it may carry over into an Avengers thing, but... It's called Captain America Civil War. It's not like everything in Captain America Civil War is going to be something else, and then at the end the Civil War starts. This is, I mean, it's the war. The title insists upon it. So,
actually, did you see the fake out title? Like when they first announced it, it was called Captain America 3 Serpent Society. I'm not a comic book guy. Is that funny? Is that a good joke?
I don't even know what that means, and I am a comic book guy.
Apparently, it's not a good enough joke. Johnny, do you know what that means?
I'm guessing it has something to do with some kind of society that probably uses serpents.
I just looked it up. The Serpent Society is a fictional organization of snake-themed supervillains in the Marvel Comics universe.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. All you got to do is get Robert Rodriguez to direct that, and I'm in the theater.
Here's a list of members. Leon, I found a list of members. Are you ready for this?
I need to know.
Serpent Society. Okay, Anaconda, Asp, Black Mamba, Black Racer. Oh my god, this list is huge. Cobra, Copperhead, Cottonmouth, Death Adder, Diamondback, Python, Puff Adder, Rattler, Rock Python, Sidewinder, Slither. I think there's other ones here too, and I'm just not going to read that list. Wow, that was a lot more than I thought it was going to be for a show.
I thought it was just going to be like the Assassination Squad from Kill Bill, where there's just a few of them. But no, they're all the snakes that have ever been.
I'm telling you, if you get Robert Rodriguez to direct this movie, I'm there. I'm getting super hyped up now about a movie that doesn't exist even in like the remotest possibility.
Oh. Not long after that, we're getting Doctor Strange, and I had a little fanboy rage fit on my Twitter because Benedict Cumberbatch is Doctor Strange.
That's right, I heard he was cast as absolutely everybody in that movie.
Actually, apparently it seemed like it was super confirmed one day, and then the next day Marvel said if he was cast, they would have announced it.
They're in final talks right now. The rumor that I read is that talks with Joaquin Phoenix dropped through, and that the next person they were courting was Benedict Cumberbatch.
I can only assume.
Or as we call him on the show, Banditch Summerschnop? Bitterditch Banderdoach.
Oh my gosh.
Scuttlebutt Interception.
I think when they say final talks, that just means price at that point. It just means, yes, he wants to be in it, and they want to be in it, and now they've decided that how much money are we willing to give this person. At this point, Marvel has more money than God, so they can probably just...
But Leon, he's British. Think of the exchange rate.
Oh, God.
Leon, do you want to pause for your thoughts on Cinnamon Bumberf match there?
Look, here's the thing. My dislike of Benedict Cumberbatch is 90% irrational. The 10% that is rational just has to do with the fact that in interviews he's like said things like, a lot of people don't like me just because I grew up so rich, and I found that I didn't like that. But beyond that, I mean, I don't care that much that he says things like that. Sometimes we just have diarrhea of the mouth and we say shit. My real issue with him is completely irrational.
Because you think he looks like an otter.
He looks like no, it's not. Well, he looks like an alien in a human suit. That's the issue. But no, the completely irrational thing that I have against Benedict Cumberbatch is the fact that I just really hate Sherlock a lot. And unlike most television shows where I watch one episode and say, it's not for me, and move on with my life and never think about it again, I've watched lots of Sherlock. And the episodes are long. And the reason I have is just because I'm married to someone who really loves Sherlock, and it's just on in the home, so I sit down and watch it a lot. And I don't like it ever. And
is that hit? I mean, you said it's irrational. Like, I have a similar feeling because I hate Sherlock, and I also hate like Star Trek Into Darkness. He was in that. I hate the Hobbit movies, even though he's only, I guess in the second one or whatever as the dragon, and the third one. But like, that's not his fault. He didn't write those shitty scripts.
No, I agree, and that's why I say it's irrational. I hate Sherlock so much that I dislike the actor who plays him, and that's not fair. And I realize that. And I dislike Star Trek Into Darkness so much that I dislike the actor who plays the main villain, and it's not fair. So it's just a gut reaction, and I am trying to get over it, but he keeps showing up in stuff that I want to watch, and I just see his stupid face, and it's like basically he's in Tolkien, Star Trek, and now Marvel, and if he's the new Indiana Jones, I'm just sunk.
It's just all your favorite things are now Cumberbatch.
And I know he'll be in a Star Wars movie sooner or later because they're gonna make like a dozen of them, and
they won't even have to CGI him for him to be an alien. He can just go as himself.
I'm not even gonna joke. My wife made the exact same joke when I brought this up to her. Okay,
let's put some contacts on him.
We really should go through each one because there's like a million more.
Before we do, I just want to address something that I was really put off by the fact that they decided to call this Phase 3.
Yeah.
It really bothers me that Marvel plans their movies like suburb expansions.
Well, we talked about last week that both DC and Marvel are threatening to oversaturate the market, where it's just overwhelming.
We'll get to the comparative analysis, Austin, but first,
okay.
With Leon, let's push through the rest of the titles.
All right. Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I mean, that was kind of obvious. It was a big movie and it made a lot of money, so of course they're going to make a sequel to it, and I'm fine with that as well. Thor Ragnarok. I was only okay with the first Thor movie. I thought Thor 2 was awesome, though. So I'm fine with Thor 3. I read a joke that kind of encapsulates exactly what I want Thor Ragnarok to be. I want Thor to look over at the fake hologram image of Odin, and then it turns out it's Loki, and then he looks at the camera like he's on The Office. And that's basically what I want Thor 3 to start as. He just kind of gives us a look like, what? And then we have the credits. And that's what I mean, I can only assume that we're going to have to,
At any point in time, would you
Johnny just turned into a robot and died.
If the line, let's Ragnarok and roll, comes up in that movie.
That will be the best movie ever if they say that.
Wait, so if Norse mythology is real in the Marvel universe, if Ragnarok actually happens, doesn't that mean, like, the world ends and everybody, like, dies? It feels like a more
Shut up.
significant event than whatever's going to happen in the Avengers. What'd you say, Johnny?
That's a good point. I don't know.
Well, maybe the Ragnarok they're talking about doesn't have to do with Earth. Maybe it has to do with...
so I'm pretty sure that Ragnarok involves everyone, but maybe it's Marvel's Ragnarok. It's off-brand.
Well, I
It's
mean,
like Dr. Pig Ragnarok.
They haven't followed Norse mythology exactly. I mean, so there is some leeway, some room.
Yeah, Ragnarok ends with the world being flooded, like Bible style. So unless Thor stops it, just a thought. That seems like a bigger deal.
You know, it'd be awesome if in Thor Ragnarok the bad guys win, and then all subsequent Marvel movies are in water. Everyone's swimming everywhere until Phase 4.
And Kevin Costner's just floating around and not doing anything.
That's how you bring it in. And then not long after that is Black Panther. We get the Black Panther movie. For those who don't know who that is, his name is T'Challa, and he rules Wakanda. I'm bringing in my comic book knowledge here. He's kind of a big deal. He's usually in the Avengers or some iteration of the Avengers. There's usually like 3 versions of the Avengers in the comics at any given time.
Apparently he is going to show up in Civil War 2 before he gets his own movie. So
Yeah, they're introducing it early.
Yeah.
And then
it sucks that Idris Elba isn't going to be Black Panther because he was already a dude in Thor and I guess Guardians. How am I supposed to masturbate to this movie if Idris Elba isn't in it? It's bullshit.
I hope they're trying to lock him down for Green Lantern. That would be all right.
I'd be fine with that. Next is Avengers Infinity War Part 1. They're doing the Justice League style and making the next Avengers movie 2 parts, 2 movies, one in 2018, one in 2019. So
why don't they just have it be Avengers 3 and Avengers 4?
I don't know. I guess because they want to... Actually, I don't know. I do not know. Maybe I had a hypothesis there for half a second, and now I just don't know, and I don't care. I'm fine with lots of Avengers movies. There is an issue of possibly they might be going too far with this, but it's hard to tell this early on. I'll say 2 more. Between Avengers Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2, there is Captain Marvel. So basically Carol Danvers, the former Miss Marvel, who is now Captain Marvel, will be having her own movie, and she's kind of awesome if you read the comic book. So I'm pretty jazzed.
Is that Shazam? Leon, is that Shazam?
That's DC's Captain Marvel, and I think they have to rebrand it or something.
I know, I'm being a dick.
You are.
That's the one I'm most excited about. Carol Danvers. I didn't even know who that was until like 2 days ago. Now that's the thing I'm most excited about. That sounds great.
She's pretty boss. And then there is the Inhumans movie, which is also taking place between parts 1 and part 2 of Infinity War. This is the thing I know least about, so I can't really comment on it. I know that Black Bolt is one of the Inhumans and that he is the leader, but I don't know much of anything else about them, so I can't comment.
As far as I know, the Inhumans were a group of humans that had been genetically manipulated by, I think it was the Kree or the Skrull. It was a Kree Skrull sideline. So I'm not surprised that they're kind of jamming that in with the Infinity War movies because, if the Infinity Wars movies are going to be as balls crazy as the Infinity War actually was, I don't think I could properly explain it to anyone.
Okay. When
they announced this, I was I Googled Inhumans, and I'm not any more interested in that. Like, I saw that, it's basically like the X-Men. They're all like mutants with powers or whatever. And I hear Inhumans, and I'm just like, man, I really want a new Incredibles. That's what I want.
Incredibles is one of my least favorite Pixar movies. I don't know why I don't like that movie.
What?
I just don't give a shit about The Incredibles at all.
Oh,
I know.
What? Okay. Leon, we gotta have a talk later. That's a great movie.
Yeah, the weird thing is, I used to be like, Pixar can do no wrong, and then I saw The Incredibles and I didn't like it, and then I saw Ratatouille and I didn't like it, and I don't even want to see Cars 1 and 2, so now I'm, like, mixed? I don't know.
Johnny, you gonna back me up here? Incredibles is great, right?
It was great. I really liked it.
Okay, good.
All right. Johnny, you were going to say something about the horrible market saturation that we're about to face.
I'm curious. I mean, how do we feel about this? Because we talked a little while ago about DC basically doing the same thing. You know, and I mean, it's kind of a different situation because, on the DC side of things, their whole new movie universe, we have the sum total of one movie that showed up in it, and it was Man of Steel.
Well, because they're doing it backwards. They're doing their team up and then introducing individual characters, where Marvel's doing individual characters into the Avengers. So it feels different, even though they're like the same amount of movies being released.
Yeah, and I mean, there's also the matter that Marvel's, like, the proof is kind of in the pudding. Like, we've already got a bunch of Marvel movies out there, and they are hugely successful, and everybody likes them, so why not? But I mean, how like, just emotional gut reaction. How do you guys feel about seeing what movies you're going to be watching for the next, like, 4 years, 5 years?
Well, they are a dozen movies that I'm going to see over the next 6 years or so, but I'm going to see over 100 movies per year, so this is a tiny fraction of what I'm actually going to be watching over the next 6-7 years or so. But I mean, there's always a chance that this could be too much of a good thing and that people will get tired of it. But we also just could be seeing the emergence of a new subgenre of film that sticks around a long time.
When I first saw the slate, I was like, my initial feeling was being overwhelmed. I'm like, holy shit, I'm not going to be able to see half of these. I don't have the time or money for this. But, like, the more I think about it, like, it's actually pretty manageable. There's like a new movie every couple months, right? There's like 4 or 5 movies a year. So I think it actually is more manageable than it might seem. I just think I'm worried that certain movies are going to bomb. Like, I'm worried about Black Panther. That's badass. I want to see it. I don't think it's going to do well. Maybe like Aquaman, I think probably doesn't have a super good shot. A couple of things like that.
I mean, just on name recognition, it maybe not, or the fact that it's hard for people to think, I can't wait to see the next Aquaman movie. But
it could be great. I just don't think people are like, oh man, Aquaman, I'm gonna line up. Like, maybe hardcore comic fans who know he's cool.
Right. I mean, the thing about Aquaman in the comic books is he's not really like the way people portray Aquaman in parody and on the Super Friends. People always say, oh, when someone says, who's the lamest superhero? Someone always says, Aquaman. He only talks to fish. He does all this I mean, first of all, he rules most of the world. So
yeah.
There is that. Also, when people say he talks to fish and basically any aquatic animals, that basically means he has, again, most of the world at his command. It's like insane. Sharks are scary, and he has all the sharks. We don't even have one, and he has all the sharks. He has all the sharks.
Someone posted a screen cap of a Carol Danvers comic of her hitting one shark with another shark, and I was immediately sold.
She's awesome.
Have you ever seen that? That's so fucking cool, just hitting sharks with sharks. That should just be the trailer for Captain Marvel. Shark on shark violence.
Captain Marvel, all sharks must die. But yeah, I mean, there are a handful of movies that just based on name recognition or lack of name recognition might not do well. But at the same time, if you actually make a great movie, even if you don't know any of the characters, like, in Guardians of the Galaxy, there will be probably word of mouth enough for it to do well. I mean, every once in a while there's a movie with no name recognition and it's awesome, and people don't go to see it, like Edge of Tomorrow.
I don't believe you!
Like Edge of Tomorrow. But, we're in sort of a superhero craze right now, so at this point I feel like Aquaman could do very well, so long as it doesn't completely suck. And I think Black Panther could do well, again, so long as it doesn't completely suck. But when was the last time Marvel Studios actually made a movie that completely sucked?
Iron Man 3. Next question.
I don't know about completely. I still wouldn't say that completely.
It sucks hard.
Nah,
So
well,
bad.
I don't know about that.
But I think it might come down to marketing because, like you said, Guardians of the Galaxy is completely no names, but then they drop a couple trailers for it, and everybody was like in a frothy mass, and then they all went and saw it 8 times, and it's great. So if they do that for Black Panther, that'd be cool. But if it fails, I mean, it's not like Marvel Disney is going under, right? They can eat a couple failures as long as it's good.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Johnny, any final thoughts before you want to move on to the thing you brought up in the pre-show discussion about the games?
I brought up a thing, oh yeah, that thing. Sorry.
Johnny, did you notice that you're a robot today? Have you been taken over by a rogue AI, or is it just the internet slow?
I think there's something wrong with my internet because it sounds like you too, Austin, are roboting out on me. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Leon, can you hear either of us normally?
I hear you mostly normally, but every once in a while there's a slight problem. It might just be because...
Austin?
You sound better right now. Earlier you were Domo Arigato.
Okay.
I was wondering if Leon hit the good sound button, because apparently he forgot to last week.
I did for a second, and then I went back and I pressed the button.
He opened up his internet windows. He was keeping most of the internet out, but he's opened them up now. The shutters are, and the internet's just flowing wild and free.
Oh my God.
The good thing about not editing this podcast anymore is I don't have the responsibility to do it. But the bad thing is that I can't be a control freak and leave all your guys' terrible shit in and make sure the sound is really good. So it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, my feeling when I edit a show, I really just go into it and remove anything that I know is so objectionable that we shouldn't have said it in the first place, and then I just leave everything else in, no matter how stupid we sound.
Do you save the cutting floor
detritus?
Because I would really, at the end of our show, we should just go out with a bang and just cut all of the really offensive stuff together and just make that an episode.
Wait, no, I don't save it. I don't save the original copies. I burn those.
As he tosses the hard drive into the crackling fire.
No, actually, now that I think of it, no, I don't. Once I've made the episode that I want it to be, I'm done. So I
destroy the evidence, Leon.
Right. The things that we've said.
We sure have said some things, guys.
Yeah,
with words.
Including one time that was literally illegal, the things we were discussing. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, one thing we were talking about was actually illegal just to discuss it.
It was a crime. We committed a crime on air. It was fantastic.
Right. That's why it does not exist anymore, so there's no proof. People don't know what we're talking about. This is the ultimate in-joke because we can't even discuss what it is I said.
But it was real.
It actually happened. We're not just making this up on the spot. Johnny, why don't we move on to the next topic because we're a half an hour in, and I have to leave immediately before American Horror Story starts.
I understand. Well, on a related tangent, because Marvel is owned by Disney, something very exciting for me just happened a couple of days ago.
Are you okay?
And that was an announcement that goodoldgames.com, or as they like to refer to themselves these days as GOG, because that's so much more dignified, announced that they had a new publisher. And I've recently been a little disappointed with goodoldgames.com because they've shied further and further away from their original mission statement, which is like good old games. And I mean, they've got this huge list of community requests. You just log on to the website, hit community, and it's like the first post is what people most want to see on good old games. And they rarely these days do we see anything new. They announced that they had a new platform called Galaxy coming up, which was going to have integrated multiplayer for most of their titles. They announced that they were going to start showing movies based around gaming culture.
All right.
And I'm just sitting there twiddling my thumbs, being like, "Yo, dude, when are we going to get Outpost or Rama or any one of a million amazing old school games that you haven't published yet?" which may be tricky legally because you got to hunt down who owns the rights to it. You got to find a copy of the game, get it to work, blah blah blah. But I mean, it's no secret that when you talk about powerhouse publishers from the late 1980s to mid to late 1990s, that a large amount of those games that were on the community wish lists, at the top of that list were old LucasArts games. And when Lucasfilm sold to Disney last year, I believe it was, there was a lot of conjecture about what they were going to do with their licenses, because when you really think about it, Star Wars in particular, a lot of the stuff that Lucasfilm and LucasArts have done around their intellectual properties, their brands, if you will, have been extended universe stuff. Like when you really think about it, Star Wars is like 6 movies, a few animated TV shows, and then like legions of novels and comic books and video games and action figures and costumes and toys and like it's all extraneous material.
Isn't that because Lucas gave away the money for the movies in return for all the merchandising rights? So,
yeah, he got all the merchandising rights, so he just merchandised the crap out of it. It was like a genius move.
Absolutely it was. But, I mean, thanks to that move, we got some of the most classic video games, not even necessarily revolving around Star Wars and Indiana Jones, but video games like the Monkey Island series, or Sam and Max Hit the Road, or The Dig.
You bastard, I was totally going to say that.
Dig!
Damn you, Dig!
But the thing is that LucasArts, even when they were still LucasArts and not owned by Disney, they were so reluctant to release their grasp on these old games, as if they were afraid that people might actually compare them to the games that they were releasing nowadays. Like, you can like The Force Unleashed until the cows come home. I don't give a shit what you like. Honestly, I don't. But if you try to sit me down in front of either The Force Unleashed 1 or 2 and tell me it's a better game than Jedi Knight Outcast, I will slap you. Not hard, just to make a point. Just to be like, no. Okay, eyes to me, Junior. Okay, now we're gonna talk.
It's one of those that, like, bring you back to your senses slaps, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Very dramatic.
Very dramatic, not a lot of force behind it, but just designed to interrupt the thought process. Because saying that the Force Unleashed games were better than anything is a thought that deserves to be interrupted. Unless maybe it's big truckers. Never mind. But yeah, there's all these games that they had kind of hanging out of their back pocket, and they kind of released a few piecemeal over the years, like, but never really so old school. Like, it was easy to get your hands on Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2, and it became a little easier to get your hands on the Dark Forces Jedi Knight series, and like it was easy to get your hands on the one Indiana Jones adventure game, Fate of Atlantis, or The Dig, but it was like there were all these other things that they were just kind of sitting on, and everybody was like, okay, yeah, when are you going to do that? When are we going to? I want that one. No, right behind you, that one. No, the one behind X-Wing. Yes, that one. And they weren't doing it. X-Wing, TIE Fighter. Sam and Max Hit the Road. Even some of their lesser-known games that weren't that great, like Afterlife, they just held on to them as if they had secret plans to dig a hole somewhere and put data into it and leave it there, because they were like, okay, maybe if nobody remembers TIE Fighter, they won't think that the next Star Wars flying segment in 1313 is really all that bad. And so when they sold to Disney, finally, everybody was like, okay, now, Disney, you've got a chance. Do something, please. Disney, please. And I guess it must have taken a little bit of time for the legal work to go through, but yeah, Good Old Games announced that they got access to Disney LucasArts as a publisher. And they came strong out of the gate, I gotta tell you. X-Wing, TIE Fighter, Sam and Max Hit the Road, and The Secret of Monkey Island Collector's Edition, which was previously available on Steam. But finding a copy of TIE Fighter meant... I have my copy of TIE Fighter right here, my CD copy that I got with the Collector's Edition released in 1998, which is a pain in the ass to get working, but...
You've been playing that instead of Valkyria Chronicles. It's actually out on PC. That's what I wanted to talk to you about.
It's not yet, but they have confirmed it. It's coming.
Leon, Valkyria Chronicles is coming to PC.
I played the crap out of it. I loved it. I don't need to buy it again. But
so good. Yeah. Sorry I interrupted you, Johnny. I just remember that and I was excited.
No, that's fine. The joke here is, of course, that I'm going to buy Valkyria Chronicles and then I'm not going to play it for like 2 years or something. So that every time we come to WordFunk, I can be like, yeah, but thinking about playing Valkyria Chronicles just to get Austin's dander up.
Yeah, you just like you abandoned Gary the War Turtle.
I did not abandon Gary the War Turtle. Yeah, okay. Abandon Gary the War Turtle. And Steve the Ratat.
You bastard.
My save game's around here somewhere, alright? It's in that bag. I'm looking at it right now. It's in that bag over there.
So you've been playing TIE Fighter.
I played some X-Wing and some TIE Fighter and some Sam and Max Hit the Road. Because, I mean, everybody's like freaking out that TIE Fighter's out. I don't think they remember how good an adventure game Sam and Max Hit the Road is. It's hilarious. Like, hilariously funny. In fact, like, the story of how Sam and Max Hit the Road became a video game is, like, the best thing ever because the comic book creator, Steve Purcell, had this comic book of Sam and Max, Freelance Police, right, that nobody paid attention to. And then he got hired on as an artist at LucasArts. And he was drawing background art when, like, a lot of the time people would find that there was this, like, weird little bunny rabbit character that showed up in the background, and people were like, hey, Steve, what's that? And he's like, oh, actually, that's just a character from this old comic book that I used to do called Sam and Max Freelance Police. And then some of the guys at LucasArts read his comic and were like, holy shit, we have to make a game about this. Like, these comics were so weird and hilarious that they approached him and said, we want to make an adventure game with this. And it's so funny, and you should all buy it, because it's amazing. It features a soggy Bigfoot, and the greatest Englishman country star named Conroy Bumpus, the biggest ball of yarn in North Dakota, and, of course, Sam and Max. It's great. It's really great. But yes, I mean, it's obvious of those 4 games, even though Monkey Island's phenomenal. It's been available for some while. The headline story is that TIE Fighter is now purchasable and playable in digital culture. Gentlemen, gorge yourselves. Ladies, everybody, children, toasters, wheel wells.
You're just naming things now.
I want everything that ever had an inkling of consciousness to pick up TIE Fighter and play it. Because it just, like, it upended the Star Wars universe and has probably one of, like, the greatest rewards that you've ever had in a video game as far as I'm concerned.
What?
Because, like, at the end of most video games, they're sort of like, congratulations, you won a cheese. Or, like, have a gold sock or something like that. But the end of TIE Fighter, like the very end of TIE Fighter, it's like you become such a distinguished badass that your reward is that Darth Vader decides he's going to fly as your wingman. And this is an important distinction to make here. Darth Vader does not decide that you are going to fly as his wingman. Darth Vader is going to fly as your wingman. So Darth Vader is like, holy shit, this kid's some hot shit. I am going to do whatever he says.
Well, he's going to need a new wingman because at the very end of A New Hope, so some of his other wingman just sort of wigs out and bumps into him.
I was going to say, in canon, is Darth Vader even considered a good pilot? Because the only time you ever see him fly is, at the end of A New Hope when he doesn't do very well.
He is considered a good pilot. In fact, at the very beginning of A New Hope, when Luke meets Obi-Wan for the first time, Obi-Wan talks about his father, and he's like, "Oh, he was one of the most gifted pilots I'd ever seen."
Plus, if we, I hate to use the prequels as a positive, but they did flesh out the fact that Anakin Skywalker was a really good pilot. I mean, the opening scene of Episode 3.
Do those pods count? The pod racing, is that piloting?
Partly the pod racing, but also like in Episode 3, like the big space battle scene, he kicked a lot of ass, I believe.
I blanked the entire Episode 3 out of my mind.
There's supposed to be a force reactive thing about like he's so good with the force that it affects his reflexes and but yes, so it's like your reward for being as awesome as you are is that Darth Vader is like, shit son, you got skills.
Is there an Ebonics voiceover option for Darth Vader?
I don't believe there is.
Wow.
But TIE Fighter also features one of my favorite characters from the expanded universe, and that's Grand Admiral Thrawn. Which, like, I'm showing my nerd colors here because I say Grand Admiral Thrawn and the room goes silent.
Oh.
I've heard of that guy. He's from books, right? Isn't there a trilogy of books?
He was in the books as well, but Grand Admiral Thrawn is a huge figure in the TIE Fighter game. And it's like,
I know things.
That was my first exposure to Grand Admiral Thrawn was through TIE Fighter, and I was like, whoa, this dude's a badass. And then I read the books, and I was like, whoa, this dude's a badass. So, go buy TIE Fighter and Sam and Max Hit the Road.
All right.
I mean, if you're going to play TIE Fighter, you probably should have a joystick. It's a sad truth.
Speaking of joysticks...
Transition.
Word.
Segue. I'm trying to interrupt it in case you can't notice, Leon.
Yeah, no, I understand. One of the best things...
I was done anyways. Guys.
Sorry, Leon. Sorry, not sorry.
Okay. One of the best things I did for myself as a gaming person is basically I can't stand playing a game with a keyboard or through a tiny monitor. So I basically consoled my my PC and I used an HDMI cable to hook it up to my television set. And I used my lovely wife's limited edition Tron Legacy Xbox controller that has a USB port into my computer, and now I basically just use it like a console. And I'm playing a very console-y game after playing a very disappointing PC game, Wasteland 2. No, it was good. I just didn't care.
They should put that on the fucking back of the box.
Wasteland 2. It was good, but I just didn't care.
Right. No, I'm playing Just Cause 2. I got it for $3, and I've only played it for a few hours, but it is more. It is paid for itself already, and I've just barely started this thing. I feel like, and I know this sounds really self-centered and stupid, but I feel like someone must have read my brain diary and made a game based on everything I want, and when that person who was reading my brain diary found out that they couldn't get the license to Mega Man, they just made Just Cause 2, and it's pretty close. Basically, like I said, I just started this game, and already I love the fact that this game not only lets me blow stuff up, because all games do that these days, but it specifically tells me that I am rewarded with points, like I'm playing Pac-Man, for blowing stuff up. I basically the game said, oh, by the way, it's a little tutorial thing, it's like, by the way, you can, blow up these, like, satellite dishes and whatnot for extra points. But anyway, this is where you need to go, like, go to the right. I'm like, no, I want to blow up every satellite dish before I move on to the next part. And I spent about, like, 20 minutes running around this one stage just looking for everything I could possibly destroy and get points for it. I love that the game gives me that incentive. And I realize, as I'm playing games as I get older, that I've been reading a lot about how game design is made in such a way that it's supposed to tap into sort of addictive centers into our brains, But knowing this sort of thing, and knowing how manipulative these games are, it does not in any way take away my enjoyment of blowing stuff up and getting completely pointless score added to my game. It's still a lot of fun, and I still enjoy it. The other great thing about this game is that it's basically Bionic Commando. I have a grappling hook. I didn't play the new-ish 3D Bionic Commando. I'm talking about the old NES version. I love this thing, and I can't wait to use it in, like, weird ways, like jump out of windows and, like, shoot a grappling hook behind me as I'm jumping out the window. I saw that on a TV show recently, and I said, I want to do that in the game, and I'm going to very soon.
I just want to let you know that Just Cause 2 is actually a better Bionic Commando game than the 3D Bionic Commando game that came out.
Yeah, I heard that was only okay at best.
Yeah.
But yeah, I dig this game. It is very cool. I'm 4 years behind, but that's just kind of the way I roll. I have a big list of games I want to play. They all came out about 4 years ago. So if you want to keep tuning into WordFunk over the next few years to hear about games you've already played, I'm your guy. So
in like 3 years, I was like, holy shit, you guys ever heard of The Last of Us? So good.
Guys, if you want to, and there's so many, like, really, really old games I haven't played, so, listeners, if you, like, genuinely want to know my opinions, on Final Fantasy 13, like 5 years from now, which is, I believe, 5 years after it came out already, so 10 years after the release of Final Fantasy 13, if you need, like, a retro review of it, I'm your Huckleberry. So, there you go.
Leon, I did just gush for like 15 minutes about a 20-year-old game, so we're at least keeping form here. Austin, what tremendously old games have you been playing?
Unlike you guys, I am actually on the cutting edge, because I've been playing a newly released game, although I apparently just forgot how to talk, Bayonetta 2 for the Wii U.
So you're not playing R-Type?
No, I'm not currently.
Ms. Pac-Man?
Johnny, are you going to let me? We're running out of time. He's going to leave us. We got to do this. Okay, Bayonetta 2.
Go!
Everyone's super excited. It got, like, perfect scores across the board. GameSpot gave it 10 and 10. It's only the 8th time they've ever done that. They've existed since the Earth was formed. So it's a big deal. Everyone loves it. I'm not so keen on it. I really liked the gameplay. I loved the first Bayonetta. I would say that's a 10 out of 10. It was the best action game ever when it was released. I think since then, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance has surpassed it by the same developer, Platinum. Bayonetta 2. It's basically Bayonetta 1, but with a really shitty story. It's just, the story is bad. It's really bad, and I don't know how deep I can get into it because it just came out. I don't want to spoil it. But it has basically all of my least favorite tropes. There's just casual time travel. There's a really bratty, mouthy kid. There's retcons. People get amnesia. It's just, if you just made a list of all the things that I don't want to see in fiction, Bayonetta 2 just checks every single one of those boxes.
Is James Hurley in it?
That would have actually been awesome if he showed up. There's the one thing I did like though is that there's clearly potential for stories in this universe, and I hope they make a third one because I want to see like all the other things that are going on that aren't this story. Like there's a part where you meet a character in a hell, and like Bayonetta's demon familiar just pops up, and she's like, "Oh shit, it's you!" And they just have this this stare down. It's like, "Oh, what happened between these characters? I really want to know about this." And then they just never bring it up again. That's what I want to know about, not this shitty, bad accent kid. But that makes the game sound way worse than it is. It's clearly like an improvement on the first Bayonetta, which was the best action game ever made when it came out. So it's a very good action game, but just don't go in expecting anything significant from the story. It doesn't have any like nanomachine sun moments from Rising.
Is there? I have two questions. One, for people who know, is Bayonetta 1 in any way on PC?
No, it's only well. First of all, the PS3 version like straight doesn't work. It has like 8 frames per second. It's terrible. They did patch it. I'm being a dick. It's reasonable now, but the Xbox 360 version was the definitive version for the longest time. But if you get Bayonetta 2 for Wii U, you get Bayonetta 1 for free in the box. Super good deal. That's why, like, if I'm turning anyone off on Bayonetta 2, fucking buy it. It's it's 2 games for the price of 1, and they're both the best games ever. So yes, obviously get it.
If you buy Bayonetta 2 for the Wii U, do you automatically get banned by Hideki Kamiya on Twitter?
He didn't even direct it. That's the funny thing. He gets hundreds and hundreds of people bothering him every day, and he's not even working.
That's why I'm very specifically asking, if you buy Bayonetta 2, do you automatically get blocked on Twitter?
If you talk to Kamiya on Twitter, you get blocked. Unless you're telling him how awesome he is, then he gives you a little smiley face. Those are the only 2 ways to interact with him. No, he went from Wonderful 101 to Scalebound. He didn't touch Bayonetta 2 in any significant capacity. He doesn't do sequels. For those who are listening who don't know who that is, he's the guy who made Devil May Cry, Beautiful Joe, Okami, Bayonetta, Wonderful 101. He's the super talented dude who's well known for being prickly, I guess is the word I would use. He just doesn't want to talk to you.
He's above us at this point. He's more important than us, and he knows it.
But Bayonetta 2 is obviously a super good game. It's like an 8 or a 9 out of 10. But I can't abide that story and pretend like it's not a big deal because it is. You can't just do that. That's not acceptable.
Okay.
What else? I've been playing other games. I don't know. We're running out of time to talk about them. I think I wanted to talk at least with Johnny about the end of Boardwalk Empire because we have 5 minutes left, and that show just ended. Leon. Apparently, your wife's family is in this show. Are you aware of this?
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I'm not supposed to talk about this in public.
She tweeted about it. That's how I know.
Oh, okay. If she mentioned it, then it's okay. She's always sort of she doesn't want anyone to know what her real last name is.
Well, you don't have to reveal that.
No, I'm not going to. I'm just saying we best not leave clues.
But last name is New Jersey.
But no. My wife, her background, in her ancestry, it's just mobsters, and not like lesser known errand boy types, like Tony Soprano level mobsters. She is not one, and neither are her immediate family, but going back a couple generations, there's that. So that's what I get to live with every day.
I hope for your own sake that she was not in the room to hear you say that.
She knows I'm joking. But yeah, no, she actually talks about it with me all the time, so it's not like a dark secret. I just didn't know she mentioned it on her Twitter, but that's okay then. But yes, yeah, you guys talk about Boardwalk Empire, because I don't actually watch it.
Yeah, it's an HBO show about like Prohibition era New Jersey. Also goes into Chicago, New York. People are gangsters. They shoot each other. There are tits because HBO. It just ended. Johnny, do you like it?
As a series, or are we talking the ending specifically?
Both?
As a series, I really liked it because I quite like a good gangster story. But the interesting thing about this is it was a good story about how politics managed to create an environment in which the gangster could thrive. Mm-hmm. You know, like when you first get introduced to Al Capone, he's like a chauffeur. He drives a car for like one of the big guys and things like that. And it's all about how political decisions about what substances people can and can't have in their body, and about what people want and don't want to do, and how that creates gaps in market, and how someone will fill a gap in the market even if it's not, strictly legal. So I quite liked it. I thought it was superbly acted. An interesting look at an era in American history that has managed to mysteriously avoid the eyepiece, as opposed to the great heyday of gangster movies. I quite liked it. And as far as the end, it ended on a note that I thought was consistent with the whole series. And while I did, some things didn't quite work out the way that I was hoping that they would work out, I'm willing to respect the writer's decisions and the showrunner's decisions that this is the way it's going to go, and I was not disappointed. So, I thought I really liked it.
Yeah, I think it worked out about as well as it could, considering a bunch of the main characters were real people who could not die because they did not die at that time.
Yeah.
So you have to work around certain limitations. I think within the framework that they built for themselves, like, I couldn't have expected more. It wasn't like the best, thing ever. It wasn't like Breaking Bad ending or anything, but I was totally satisfied with it.
I'd have to say definitely. And the thing is too is that I like how they ran the whole last season, because they ran the whole last season with having like pretty much closing off story arcs with everybody. You got
They only got 8 episodes, so they had to.
But just that they had those scenes between characters, like there were always these scenes between. It's like, oh, I really wanted to have some resolution in this situation. Oh, I really wanted to see this character and that character in the same room together again, And I could have done with maybe a little bit less of the flashbacks that they were using in the final season, but leading up to what they had in the end, I think it was kind of appropriate. I think
it worked, but it could have easily gone.
Impatient with it at the time, is what I'm trying to say. But seeing the whole last season now as a unit, I'm like, I get it. It's cool.
Yeah, I started having Mad Men flashbacks. I don't know if you're keeping up with that show, but it was super good at first, and then they got totally bogged down and like, look how sad Don's backstory is. I don't give a shit. But I think Boardwalk Empire pulled it out and made it satisfying. I like that show. You should watch it.
Yes, Leon, I think you should watch it too.
I only know 3 things about that show. 1, it fictionalizes my wife's background. 2, General Zod is in it, and he's good in it.
Yeah.
And 3, there's mom sex, and those are the things.
Wait, what?
Yeah, there is mom sex.
Oh shit! Okay, I wasn't sure what you were talking about at first, but then I remembered. Yes, there is.
How could you forget mom sex?
Because that was like 3 seasons ago.
Oh, okay.
I like it how Austin, the only one from the South, just manages to wash over the.
I'm not even going to dignify that. on that note, bringing up a show that had really graphic incest, we will say goodbye. Anything you guys want to say right before we go?
Don't dress your dog up for Halloween. Think about dressing up as your dog for Halloween. Because then you could piss and shit anywhere, and people will be like, wait, was that a guy?
No. You should buy Valkyria Chronicles on PC when it comes out. One of the very few 10 out of 10 games. Super good in every possible way. It's amazing. Buy it. That's my last words on that.
Oh, TIE Fighter.
TIE
Fighter!
Buy all the games, but nothing that just came out, basically, is what we're saying. That's the idea.
I don't know. I hear Wasteland 2 is pretty good.
Bye, guys.
I'm sorry. It's really rude. But no.
How about this? Buy Wasteland 2. You can shoot me.
Yeah, okay.
But you gotta find me first.
Yeah, before I go, do you know where you are in the game?
I'm not fucking telling you.
God damn it. Alright, I gotta go because I have to move things into the other room to watch.
You gotta work for it if you're gonna shoot me, Leon. You gotta work for it.
Okay.
Nobody tell Leon where I am in the game.
Everyone tell me. Go. Don't do it in the comments because I don't go there. Send it on my Twitter @Renegade Cut. Goodbye. Tell me where to kill Johnny. I will play the game again only for that.